Once there lived a druid named Baltar, who resided alone in the Aldean woods near the elven kingdom of Erathena. There he lived in solitude, except for his unlikely friendship with a high elf. His one friend, made from the most uncommon of circumstances, now needed him, and so Baltar ventured into the heart of danger and proved that the most powerful magic of all is friendship. Baltar, a seasoned druid of the Evershade Forest, was a figure of solitude and of wisdom, and his eyes, a mirror of the forest, held a depth of knowledge that only comes with time. His connection with nature was so profound that he could hear the whispers of the wind and understand the language of the trees. Born to the High Elf Society was a young woman named Eliora. The High Elven Kingdom was established on the old arcane magic. These ancient people hailed from the Night Elf primeval empire. As a society, these people were hidden in solitude, who rejected the unclean magic of the other clans. Baltar laid Eliora's weak body on his bed made from the druid's rest wood. He shirked back in frantic panic as Eliora's necklace, a symbol of her family, fell out and across his hand. Hatred bubbled up inside him as he clenched his fist. Then he loosened it. As his gut wrenched, he saw his friend's soft eyes, which normally sparked icy blue with the mysteries of the arcane, now lay there with eyelids closed. Her terribly weak body, so vulnerable to the world around. Yet beneath her regal exterior, there was a silent strength. He brushed away her sweat-soaked hair from her forehead with a gentle touch. His eyes filled with worry. How could he not help his friend in this moment of need? In the quiet of the room, where the struggle of life and death hung in the balance, the shadows of the past crept in, whispering of the darkness that had set this fate in motion. A dark mage threatened the safety of the elven kingdom of Erathena. The dark mage was no stranger to Erathena. Once a respected scholar in the kingdom, his thirst for power had led him down a dangerous path. His name was Morin, and he had been banished for delving into forbidden magic. To save her kingdom, Eliora held a resolve and made a split decision. She risked losing herself to the darkness, but the safety of Erathena was worth the sacrifice. Under the shroud of the moonlit night, Eliora the High Elf extended her slender fingers, weaving intricate patterns in the air. A dark arcane energy swirled around her, coalescing into a spell of formidable power. As the last syllable of her incantation echoed through the silence, the spell was cast, its ominous energy pulsating into the ether. Then, as if time itself held its breath, Eliora fell into a silent stance, her mind a tranquil sea devoid of thoughts, her eyes reflecting the unfathomable depths of her power. Eliora now laid in absolute silence until Baltar the Druid comes back with a vial of healing water. Her thoughts stopped and her gaze still. The healing waters are on a treacherous mountain, a moon's journey away. The mount has a hidden pool of water that is guarded by a dragon. Baltar gathers the provisions for the journey and mounts a horse in search of the healing waters to save his friend. Baltar had heard tales of the treacherous journey. As he set off, he couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding. At nightfall, he reaches the foot of the mountain and starts to climb. His resolve strengthened with each step to restore Eliora's soul back to consciousness. The path became more perilous. As Baltar ventured onto the next stone, he faltered, his footing slipping away. He tumbled downwards, only to arrest his fall by securing a fuller foothold just in time. Baltar paused, his heart pounding in his chest. He could turn back, but then he thought of Eliora, her life hanging from the thread, and he pressed on. As Baltar neared the healing waters, he felt a gust of hot wind. He heard a low growl that echoed through the mountains. The dragon was close. The air became stiflingly hot. As Baltar stepped into the dragon's lair, the ground beneath him shifted. Before he could react, he was sliding down into the darkness. The dragon's wings extended upward, and the horrifying glare came upon Baltar. The hairs on his neck stood upright in trepidation of the great beast. "State your purpose, mortal," the dragon thundered. Baltar, regaining his resolve, spoke with bravery. "I seek the healing waters to save a life, a friend who sacrificed herself for her people." The dragon's eyes narrowed. "Very well. If you speak the truth, answer me this riddle, and you may take from the healing waters," said the dragon. "What always runs but never walks? Often murmurs, never talks, has a bed but never sleeps, an open mouth that never eats." Baltar met the dragon's stare. "A river." Once past the formidable dragon with a heart full of hope, Baltar filled a vial with the healing water. The night had fallen, but when Baltar emerged from the dragon's lair, and he descended from the mountain and rode back on his horse. Upon his return, Eliora remained motionless. As Baltar held the vial to Eliora's lips, the world seemed to hold its breath. The healing water trickled down her throat, and for a moment nothing happened. Then a soft sigh escaped her lips. Her eyelids flooded open, revealing the familiar icy blue eyes that Baltar had missed so much. He watched as Eliora's fingers twitched, then curled around his hand. Her grip weak but steady. A tear slipped down Baltar's cheek, falling onto their intertwined hands. It was a tear of joy, of relief, and of 1,000 emotions he couldn't put into words. Eliora's gaze met his, and in her eyes he saw gratitude, resilience, and a fierce determination that took his breath away. She was back. She was alive. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. The journey had been treacherous, the cost high, but as he looked into Eliora's eyes, he knew it was worth it. With Eliora's spell and Baltar's healing water, the dark mage was vanquished, and peace returned to Erathina, but the ordeal had changed them. Eliora had peered into the darkness and emerged stronger, while Baltar's journey had proven his bravery, a testament to the most powerful magic of all, friendship.